Good morning. Welcome to the studio at Two Girls Treasure. I am super excited about what we can get done today. I had an idea yesterday after I got my papers installed on the back plate for this clock. I found the materials I needed and I know exactly, well sort of exactly, what I want to do with them. Let's see how it all works out. Let's give this a little jazz this morning. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right, you see the back of the clock? I got this one a little bit crooked. I think it's gonna be okay. I think we can compensate for that because I didn't measure and mark. I just laid it down and went with it. But it looks so cute. It's not in there permanent like. I just sort of leaned it up and we can take it right back out. And we're gonna want to for this next part. Isn't that cute? Look at that paper. I know, it's not all straight, but it's okay. It's all right. You know what? I don't live in a perfect world and I don't live on perfection. I live on awesome ideas and high energy and a lot of caffeine, y'all. It's not a bad way to live. I'm gonna grab one of my sanding blocks and where this hangs over the edge, it's all dry now, sealed up with our Rethunk Gunk by Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura. I know a lot of people use a different brand, but let me tell you something. This Rethunk Gunk, this is what you need to have in your toolkit, and here's why. It's what you use to decoupage, it's what you use to seal. You do not have to use a heat gun, you do not have to wait for it to dry, you do not have to do all those crazy steps. Decoupage is supposed to be simple. This makes it that way. Make sure you get some Rethunk Gunk in your toolkit so you can do some of the amazing things. I'm just trying to cut the edges off here because we had some spare. And it is thick paper, y'all, so it's taken me a little extra to get it off. It was beautiful paper though, and it's gonna age so nicely. And wait till you see the embellishments we're going to do. Let me tip you down so you can see the camera's a little bit high this morning. Caroline and I were working on a thing yesterday, so we had to adjust the camera so it's not in its regular space. Good morning, Lisa. I see you. I see you on the camera. I don't see you here in my space. But you could come over. And it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. You could just come over. Now I have my tape measure out because we're getting ready to measure the inside edge here. Here we go. Just a little bit more. When you decoupage something and your paper hangs over the edge while you're doing it, let it dry. Then take your sanding block and just sort of cut the edge off. It's easier than trying to use your scissors because if you use your scissors you might get too close to the wood and you might cut the wood. Now here's what we really need to measure. I'm going to spin the clock around and here's what we really need to measure. Pardon me, y'all. We need to measure this inside, because this is where your back plate goes back on and it's got a nice little inset so it fits. But to do this next part, we need to know that our pieces need to be 15¼ or less. So 15 1/8 works. Do you want to see? I'm excited. I have some old lath wood. I always call it lathe wood, but it's lath wood. came out of our Victorian house in Darlington, and I use it for all kinds of different projects. People say, oh, I love your tobacco stick stars. They're not tobacco sticks. It's lathwood from the 1800s. You just don't get that kind of look anywhere. It's real. We need these to be 15 1/4, no more. They can be a little less. So I'm going to grab my trusty little pencil. I'm going to set this down because I don't want to skin it up. Not yet. We're gonna do our glazing, but we want to do this first. So 15, I'm going to go just under 15 1/4. And I'm going to mark that right there. Let's get everything marked. I want to use the good end. This one's not long enough. We'll just ditch it. And don't worry, I'm not going to waste whatever is not used on this project. I am going to use it on, we'll make ornaments with it. We don't waste this wood. We do not waste a stitch of this wood, because you'll never replace original 1800s wood to save your life. You just can't do it. Oh, I broke my pencil leads, but I can still mark. And they don't have to be exact. They don't have to be perfect. Just get them marked. Just get them marked, and this one's almost exact. It's a little bit too long though. Just a little. I have 9 of these. This one's almost exact too. Oh, I did good picking these out, didn't I? And one more. Ooh, I did real good picking these out. There we go. All right, now we're going to take our trusty jigsaw. Back over here and get my trusty jigsaw blades. I've got a plethora of blades, but we want a wood blade, wood fast. That would work just fine. Wood clean. We want a nice clean cut. That's what we're going for. This is so easy to work with. I love it. All right, I'm going to trim these off real quick. Did I cut them all? I did. They're all done. Look at that. Pretty much all the same length too. Didn't do bad. Didn't do too bad. Look at that. Oh, I love it. All right, now the best part. Yesterday I mixed up some salt wash prematurely. Shouldn't have done it. I was not ready. So before I left yesterday, I saturated everything in water. Oversaturated it actually because I didn't want to wreck my brushes. Even though these are crusty brushes, I just didn't want to wreck them. But guess what? These won't work. So I'm going to move those out of the way, and I will grab another cup. Today I won't make the same mistake. Today I won't make the same mistake. I say that, and I mean it. Today I won't make the same mistake. We're going to get into this salt wash right now. I'm going to turn the fan off so I don't blow salt wash everywhere. I'm going to get a couple of roughed up brushes so that I'm not ruining a good brush. And it's not that I'm going to ruin it, it's just that I know what I'm fixing to do. All right. We need fresh sage. And we need blue lace. Limited edition, Rethunk Junk. It is only here for a little while. So make sure you get some. And if you already got some, thanks. Thanks so much. A little bit of the salt wash. Tink, tink, tink. And let's scoop in our blue lace. We want it nice and chunky. This is the part where we were going to use our palette knife yesterday. We just ran out of time. I ran out of time completely yesterday. I used every minute of the day. Did you? It's what I had, so I spent it. I spent it wisely. Nice and thick. Y'all, this is nice and thick. It's exactly what I'm looking for. The beauty of salt wash is the ability to mix it nice and thick. I can probably use this. It's going to be really liquidy though. Not sure I want to. I'm going to set, do I want to? Boy, I hate to waste that. It is nice and chunky. We're using it. Executive decision made. We're using it. Not wasting it. I'm really only just going to get a good coat on there. It's going to soak in because there's a lot of moisture. Maybe we'll just use that up on this first one. I'm going to cap the salt wash and I'm going to turn the fan back on because we need that right this second. I'm even going to move the fan over here onto the table. I think that's my husband. Good morning. It is. He came to play today too. I love it when he shows up when I'm in the middle of a live tutorial and he comes to see what kind of shenanigans and nonsense I've conjured up. So we're just going to use this up. I'm not going to waste it. I just want that fresh sage as my backdrop, just like we did the entire clock surface. Hey, honey. Hey. I mixed this salt wash up yesterday, and I shouldn't have mixed it yesterday because I ran out of time and I didn't get to touch this again, and I ruined the blue lace salt wash, but I don't want to waste the fresh sage salt wash. And I went and got some lathe and you see my back plate that goes back here? Wait till you see what we're going to do. You're going to love this. Alright, I used it all so I can get just a little bit more. I don't need much. I don't need very much at all. And I have another, I'll just use the same brush. There we go. We're just going to stir that up. We want it chunky. We need a little bit more chunky. I want it nice and thick. There we go. That's what I was going for yesterday. Let's cap that so it's not blowing around. And you can see all of this. Oh, look at the difference the chunky makes. I love that. So, if any of y'all are familiar with the folks who work here at the market, Raymond Dads and his wife are expecting a baby. They thought they were having that baby boy last night. They really They really did. But they didn't. So today is Friday. He's going home. And keep him and Angel and Lizzie in your prayers, because that baby's coming when that baby's ready. But that baby did not come last night. But they thought he was coming. All right, that is all of the fresh sage. I've got it all over me now. Let's get some of this. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to dry it. I want to let it be wet for just a minute. Let's go ahead and just smear this on. As a matter of fact, I don't really even need the brush anymore. I'm going to take this palette knife and we're just going to smear it. This is Blue Lace and Salt Wash, and it's over Fresh Sage and Salt Wash. These first pieces are a little bit liquidy. That's okay. We've got the color there that we wanted. We've got the color there that I wanted. I've been visioning this, y'all. And it made sense in my head, so I hope when I'm done, it makes sense on this clock backing. And I know it's extra. It's not something I had to do to make this piece work. But sometimes it's just that little extra thing that you do that makes it different and special and really cool. All right, we have smeared on our blue lace. Very randomly heavy in some spots, not so heavy in others, but very cool nonetheless. Very cool. I'm just cleaning off the edges because I want to not have to sand the edges, but we can leave a little bit there. Run it over. Ooh, that's a big old chunk of it. There we go. I'll have to use that. Got a lot on there. There we go. Smear that back down. Let me find one that doesn't have a lot. This one. This one has a splinter, so let's cover that splintered edge up right there. Once this dries and it's solidified, it'll be like concrete. It's not going anywhere, and it will protect what we're working on. All right, now let's throw that fan back on that, and I'm going to grab a cup of water. Grab a chair, Minnie. Sit down. Stay for a little while. I love you. Tink. All right, that's in water. Let's cover this up. Let's cover this up, and we'll move them out of the way. Perfect. All right. While this is drying, I'm going to put the salt wash away in my tape because I no longer need these. And we're going to take this back plate and we're going to put it right back up here on the work table. I just want these to dry a little bit before we dive into them. Dried paint never dries. Watched paint never dries. If you're waiting for your paint to dry, it won't. If you're trying to keep it from drying out, it will. I think that's Laura's law of painting. We'll call it that anyway. Murphy didn't have anything to do with us painting, so his laws do not apply here. All right, let's set these off onto the table. They're not dry, it's okay. It is okay. I'm too excited about the way this looks to worry about whether or not they're dry right this second. Let's get that back plate on here. Flip the towel. And there we go. You know where I'm going with this, right? You know exactly where I'm going with this, don't you? If you don't, let me show you. We're going right here with this. I looked at this, I thought about this, and I was like, you know what? I love that we can make it look like this. And I'm gonna need 2 more pieces maybe. We'll see. I love that look. I really do. Let's get these on here. I'm going to use our Titebond Quick and Thick. And let's just attach them with the glue. We'll tack them in if we need to, but I think this glue will hold just fine. I don't want to go all the way to the outside edge because the outside edge is where this sets in on the back of the clock body. So I don't want to go all the way to the edge of the back plate. There we go. Y'all, that man cooked me breakfast this morning and he is here to help me assemble some arbors. He's a good man. There we go. A bit more glue. I'm loving this. I love the inconsistency of the wood. I love the inconsistency and the chunkiness of the salt wash. You know I love the roses. And I'm totally okay if it's not perfectly straight. So if your OCD is going to kill you to look at this, don't look. One of the coolest things for me about doing the painting and the crafting is that I have learned to accept the imperfections in myself and in life. And it's not a bad thing. If you struggle with that craft more, it's not because you will get it perfect, it's because you will come to a better understanding of the capabilities you have and how wonderfully perfect and imperfect you are, and that is exactly how you should be in this life, and it's fine. It's fine. You can be that. And if somebody doesn't like that about you, you just find new friends. You just find new friends. Because nobody needs the kind of negativity that people expect you to be perfect. Because I'm sure not, and I've got some really cool friends. I love this. I don't have a piece for here and here, but that's okay. I've got more. We'll just let this lay in and dry for a quick minute. I am loving this. Let's grab our classic black glaze, because that's the one I really want to use. I'm going to slide this over to the fan side. Let Fangirl dry that for a few minutes. I'm going to kick the wood pieces out of my way. And we're going to spin the clock around to the front side. That's a nice base look, isn't it? Come on up. Hey, come on up. Let's start way up here at the top. That's as high as I can get you. That's a lot, isn't it? And I don't even think, nope, I can't make it smaller. It's okay. Classic black glaze and a brush. Classic black glaze and a brush. Oh, I already have it in a container. And paper towel. And I need some water. We've got that right here. Oh, that was a little bit much. Got the water right here. So I'm just going to daub it, squish it. We're going to use the classic black glaze that we have in the container. We'll use the brush too, And we'll use the damp rag and damp it just a little bit more. I just really want to hit these flutes, y'all. It's what I want more than anything in life, is I want to hit these flutes with some black glaze. So let's get in here and do this. Let's dirty this up. We're only going to hit highlights. I really love black glaze in so many instances, and this is one of them. Get it on there. We can wipe back what we don't want. But when you have flutes like this and you are aging your piece, you cannot help but use glaze. Get it in those flutes, wipe it back so you get it out from where you don't want it. When your cloth starts getting like this, make sure you fold it over. And when it gets too much, get a clean one. And just let some of it stay. Glaze is so cool. Over your dry paint, your paint will absorb so much. Over your tough top paint, you actually have a little more time to work it in and put it where you want it. Do I have tough top on this? Absolutely not. I did not take that time yet. But you can take your brush too. You can deposit it up into the crevices and you can clean out your flutes so that you don't have big globs like I had, because I overglaze. I do. Glaze dries rather quickly, and again, over your dry paint, your glaze goes in pretty quickly. It sort of absorbs into that dried paint because it's still porous. So make sure, if you don't want a heavy glaze, make sure you tough top first so that you don't have such a heavy finish. If you really want a heavy finish, go for it. I'm going to cheer you on. I'm going to be right here cheering for you. Can you see that whole top? You can't. I can't turn the camera any higher. Do this side while we're going. I like to put it on and give it a few minutes to set up, because if you let it set up, it gets tacky and a lot of it will stay where you put it. If you need to erase it back, erase it back. Take your damp cloth and wipe back what you don't want. If you get too much and you can't get it off, then just brush back over those areas with your paint. You can always brush more paint over it. This is the part where you can just sort of let your creativity run. It'll be okay, just do it. I've got some heavy glaze down here at the bottom, so I'm going to clean this up real quick. I don't want it to dry dripping. That's not the look I want. There we go. Back up to the top. A little bit more up here. I love the look, y'all. I'm over here on the side. I don't want to spin it around right now because I have glaze all over my fingers, and you know what will happen? I will leave fingerprints. That's exactly what's going to happen if I touch it right now. So we'll just keep working this face. Glaze you can work. You just keep working it until you get it how you want it. I'm going to use the back, and I'm going to walk this back so you can see more of what I'm doing. We've got a guest. Thanks for coming. I love this. Let's keep going. I hear questions, I might have to go answer, but we're going to do this while we can. Let me get that glaze in those grooves. Here we go. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. That way I don't have it running down and it's real heavy. And I'm going to let it sit for just a minute. And let's get this groove right here. Do you love to glaze, or do you find that glazing's a little intimidating? Look at the difference. That's really heavy. That looks good. Glazing can be intimidating because it always makes you feel like you're ruining your piece. You're really not ruining it. I promise. I've got a lot of extra, so there we go. We're going to tamp that off. You're not ruining it. If you don't like the look when you get done, really all you have to do is let it dry, and you can paint back over it. You can tamp just a little bit of paint in the areas that you find are a little bit too offensive to you, to your taste, or you can paint over the whole thing. I find a lot of times I really enjoy heavy glazing it and then fading the color back in, because then it's harder to tell that it's been glazed. I like to glaze the edges to give that shadowing effect, heavy on your corners and your edges where you have architecture, because that's where your age builds up, doesn't it? On our corners and our edges, that's where our age builds up. That's funny, but it's true. It's true. We grab another paper towel. We'll damp this. I'm just dipping it. I've got a cup of water and I'm just dipping it because my spray bottle's empty. I used it all. So let's start with, ooh, and I have it all over the floor too. It's okay. It comes right up. Let's clean this back just a little bit. Just a light hand when you're wiping back. Just a light hand does the job. If you want it more in the crevices and less on the prominent pieces, wipe the prominent pieces back. Use your fingertips. Squeeze some water out. I don't need that much. And down we go. All the way down to the bottom. Don't think you can see me, but I'm coming right back up. There we go. A little bit more back. And I'm going to get my brush out, wipe my brush off. And that way when I go in the grooves, it'll pick some of it up and spread it down, smooth it out, and pull some of it off. It'll pull just enough of it off. So we're a little bit heavier on the left than we are on the right. That's okay. I can go back over it, either with my damp cloth, or I've got a dry cloth right here, and this will do the job too. Whatever it is you're using, all you're doing is picking up the excess that you don't want on there, and you're dragging it back out. That's all you're doing. Smoothing it back out to the place where you want it. Now, you know I really love a Corinthian look, and a lot of times when I glaze, rather than wiping it, I will mottle it. And I didn't do that this time. I kind of like the way this is going, so I'm just going to keep going. I really like the way that looks, y'all. Let's see. Another brush? I think so. Not this one. This one. I'm just going to pull some more of that glaze down. Glaze you can play with for hours. How do you know when you're done? Well, that's up to you. Glazing is what your mind's eye sees as being right, as being the tone you want, as being the weight or the heaviness that you want, the age that you want, in the places that you want. There's no real right or wrong way to glaze. There are so many different ways to glaze. Practice. Just get a blank piece of wood, get a blank piece of paper, put your paint down, get something with some architecture if you want to. Crumple up your piece of paper so that you have the texture of the wrinkles, and play with the glaze until you find the different ways that you really, really love to see the glaze settle into your architecture, to see the glaze mottled all over so it has that Corinthian vibe, it has that Romanesque feeling to it. Take your time with the glaze. This is probably the best playtime of all, besides adding our extras. This is probably the best brushed on, wiped back playtime you can have with the paint. Besides the painting, that's fun too. But this part sort of sets your mind free. You can do this any way you like, and it's not wrong. And it looks fantastic. I have no idea what time it is, but I know Scott, yep, it's 9:42, bless it. Scott's taking care of some customers, so I need to go see if I can answer some questions. We're going to glaze the paper and ladder steps that we put together on the back plate. We're going to put this clock back together today, maybe tomorrow. But by Monday it will be done. You will see beautiful finished photographs of this lovely, now amazing, fresh sage, blue lace, classic black, decoupaged grandfather clock. You can do it too. Grab one. I'm sure they're everywhere. I'm sure they're very inexpensive, right? Maybe not. Take what you have, make it absolutely stunning, make it beautiful for you. And if you're flipping furniture, shoot, girl, you need to come get you some Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura, because it is 3 steps. Prep, paint, and protect it. You can throw the 4th one in there and do your glaze. That's what I call personalized protection. And it'll be beautiful, wonderful, fabulous, saleable, and profitable. I'm Diane Pruitt. Thank you so much for being here. Where is here? We're in the studio at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina. We are open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. We have some fabulous new inventory. Stay tuned for an update. Our Decoupage Central papers are in. They are already online. We have the Halloween. We have the Christmas. I forgot to order the Thanksgiving turkey, and I want him so bad. He has the steamer top hat on. We're getting him, y'all. There are some more Christmas designs coming out, so make sure you choose yours. Let me know what you're looking for. More Santas? No problem. She has them. We'll get them. We also know what the Iron Orchid Designs new release is going to look like. While I cannot tell you what it's going to look like, while I cannot show you so you can be as excited about it as I am, and even Scott looked at it, he's like, oh, that's cool. Wait till you see it. We will have a launch party privately, and then we will have the launch on the day of. You make sure you stay tuned for that. Next Friday evening, come paint with us. We already have a gang that's coming out. We're going to have some fun, some fellowship, and we're going to create mermaid tails. Make a reservation, if you will. That's all I'm asking. That way, I know you're coming, and I'll have all your materials ready when you get here. I will. I'll clean the chair out even. I won't have all my junk piled up in it. Promise. And then we have our smalls on Saturday. So if you're interested in working with our Rethunk Junk Paints and you want a hands-on workshop, that's your day. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. until noonish, because it probably takes us till 12:30 because we chat. But come on out. I will teach you the 3 steps of using Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura, and we'll have a great time. You've got questions? I've got answers. Message me through the website, give us a call here at the store, and do this for me. Have a blessed and wonderful day. I thank you so much for being here with me this week as we had fun with this grandfather clock. I will see you right back here next Monday, and we'll start a whole new project. I'm excited. Y'all take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you soon. Bye.